Well, hello out there, friends and neighbors. It's your back porch commentators coming to you from somewhere in Missouri, where a firm handshake means more than your signature, and a cold drink can help solve almost any problem. That's what we're planning to do here, bring you along on our journey to the answers to life's questions. You'll get a few facts and a lot of opinions, but remember, we're probably intoxicated and definitely full of shit. So pull up a chair and settle in while we explore some of those most thought-provoking questions. Like, why is a man bun a thing? Hey everybody, welcome back for episode 19. And
yeah,
had a little of an off week.
Well,
I guess it took a couple weeks.
it was a short week,
Short.
and then I was not feeling well.
Yeah. Honestly, I wasn't either. So I was just kind of like, well, we'll just put it on.
Call it good.
I'll take your excuses.
Yeah, let it go, man. Just let it go.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, I actually, I did go and get tested for COVID.
Yeah.
Because I had all the symptoms and whatnot, and the rapid test said I was negative. Now, it was a sickness like I'd never had before. Like, you know, at 38 years old, I know what, my body feels like.
Yeah.
You know, when you got a fever or how you normally feel when you're getting sick or whatever. Anyways, the doctor said I had a bacterial infection of acute bronchitis and was on the verge of pneumonia. And that came on within 36 hours. I went from fine to the doctor on the verge of pneumonia.
Yeah. Probably nothing.
Nothing, yeah. The problem was I couldn't taste shit.
That's the one that got me. I was
Right.
like,
right.
you better get checked.
Right.
I was glad you said you're getting tested.
And I'd never had a problem with not tasting anything.
Yeah.
I've had allergies for years. I get upper respiratory infection.
Yeah.
And now something that he's like, it'll probably last 3 to 4 weeks, and that's about right. Usually I get he's like, I'm not giving you antibiotics. I was like, but it's bacterial, not viral. Shouldn't you?
Right.
At that point, he was Nigerian. I couldn't understand half of it. I walked away. And here I am 6 days better, and other than some typical allergy drainage, I'm fine. So bronchitis usually doesn't heal itself in 6 days.
Yeah.
So whether I had it or not.
And that was the quick test you said?
Yeah, it was a rapid
that like
test.
the 20-minute thing, or was that like the 2-day? Or?
It was like 20 minutes, yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I heard some people getting that, and I was like,
I've heard they're not accurate. I've heard
know,
that they're really accurate. I don't know. Hot nurse came in, stuck a Q-tip way up my nose.
Did she do both?
Yeah, she did both.
Rapid? All right, yeah.
And then Nigerian doctor came in, and I couldn't understand half of what he was saying, but he was very optimistic, which is always nice.
Hey, he feels fine.
Yeah, right? I'm just glad it wasn't like syphilis or something.
Yeah.
That would have drove me nuts.
Well, did they test you for the syphilis?
Well, they didn't put a Q-tip there.
So
these
we're
glasses.
not ruling it out.
Yeah, I'm not. If it was there, it was probably there from years prior, though, which would explain my erratic behavior.
Yeah.
These glasses were actually gifted to me when I was supposed to officiate his wedding, and then I ended up being the best man, and that was the second time I was his best man, which I'm pretty sure is a bad omen, but by a friend, and grew up together, and now he doesn't talk to me. So, new wife, new life. What are you going to do?
But you got the glasses.
But I got nice glasses. And they look like bottles, upside down bottles.
The memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've used these before. I don't know if we've used them on the podcast. Definitely not on video.
Never not on video.
But, yeah, these are cool.
In the corners of my mind.
Yeah.
Oh. So, hope everybody had a good week. You kind of threw together a Habashaw just real quick, so people had something to listen to.
Yeah, and I was planning on going through like all 16, 17 episodes,
Right.
And doing something. And then it got to be Sunday, and I was like, all right, we'll figure something out.
Right.
So I pulled them all up, except I couldn't find, I've saved off several somewhere. I don't know where. They're not deleted. I've got them somewhere, but I don't know which flash drive they're on. So it ended up being like all of our August episodes. Took a couple of clips from each one and just
kind of the ones that
Well,
little clips I thought were cool.
I just appreciate the effort, because if you were like, I'm sick this week, can you do this? I'd be like, I know 3 primary colors. Give me the crayons and I'll try not to eat the rest.
Right.
I mean, I'd be like, I got nothing, man.
Right.
So anyways,
good old Shiner Bock, man.
yeah.
That's what we're drinking today.
Yeah, we were talking about Texas earlier, and
Yeah.
But hey, got an email this week.
We did get an email.
Got an email.
Last minute email.
Last
but
minute
we did
email.
get it.
Yeah,
So
to protect the names.
listener.
Yeah, to protect the names of the innocent, I'm not going to.
We'll protect the names of the guilty too.
Yeah, well, that's half the people I know. Man, that's the best head I've had all week. Anyways, protect his name, but it was a picture that somebody we knew from our hometown had accidentally put send all on Messenger. And I can't tell, and I don't want to say her name either, because I don't even want to acknowledge that I have this picture. But there was, I don't know, the way I understood it from the story, I'm assuming that was makeup on her face. But it looked like she had boils and scars and all kinds of, looked like she'd been in a car accident damn near.
When I first saw it, I thought it was like one of the new pictures from like the
mask,
like the rash from the mask, you know.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, oh dear, you know.
That looked horrible.
But unless she was wearing a mask for a couple of weeks, you know, a few years ago.
Supposedly, I was going to say, supposedly it was an older picture. But this girl is a rather thick individual.
She's got a winter coat.
Yeah, and fun bags for days. Jesus. I mean, when you got to scroll down to get the whole titty in your picture, and you're still looking, the nipples are still cut off.
Top of the head and
yeah, and you scroll once, and you've got the whole titty, but the nipple is still at the bottom of the picture. I was like, that is utterly awful.
You're like, you need longer arms.
And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not going to judge anybody for their body. I mean, hell,
I zoom in this.
Yeah, but I mean, that is one that, you know, our tagline is either way. I don't think I'd finish. I could. No. I'd have to be in like Alaska wilderness, cloudy day, dark. You know what I'm saying? Cloudy night, dark. And I'd have to be frozen
even
solid.
then, you have to like not feel certain things.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
it is
just the whole
Amish blanket with a hole in it. You know,
the hole's just right. Maybe.
Oh, Lord, you know. And that's even one, like, when you were a teenager and you were, like, desperate, I don't even think I could have got into that. Like, even in my most desperate of moments, I think I'd be like, well, I'm going to have to cut that off now.
Sorry,
I think we all got most of us got a fat girl in the closet that we don't like to talk about, but damn, son. And the thing about it is this person, she is way too bitchy to be that ugly.
Right.
I mean, at least, I'm not pretty, but at least I got
one or the other, you know?
Yeah, at least I got a dazzling personality when I'm drunk and horny, you know? You might not want to finish with me, but at 2 o'clock, I'm looking like a 10, you know?
So keep buying you drinks, man.
That's right.
If you play your cards wrong,
you could take me home tonight.
Take me home.
Oh, man, that is one that you'd be like Ace Ventura in the shower, like, like scrubbing your body. Lord. So thank you for that email,
Thank you for the email.
Thank you, but no thank you. What else?
I got a joke.
Okay, let's hear
it. Somebody posted this, and it was in a group that I'm in on Facebook, and I think they made it. I haven't seen it anywhere else, so I'm thinking they just made it and put it in there. But it was a picture of a guy, and he's asking a question, and he says, how many calories are in eating pussy? And the answer is, depends on which way she wipes.
Oh. I'll take the seedless, please.
Yeah. No dingleberries. in my
Did you get a Big Mac today? Because there's some sesame seeds. This is probably a horrible story to share, but okay, so
I knew that'd lead somewhere.
I've got stories.
Yeah. Because you lived.
I've lived, yeah. So last week I was not feeling too hot, right?
Right.
And I made it to work. I went ahead and went to work on Friday morning, and I was there, and my stomach started grumbling. Yeah, and I was like, oh, I'm going to have to take a bathroom break somewhere this morning.
Yeah.
And then it hit, and I was like, nope, looks like I'm doing it now. And went to the bathroom, and the men's restrooms in public, I don't know if females are similar, but the toilet.
Post office?
Yeah, this is the post office. And I checked into the handicap stall. There's nobody handicap working, so I wanted the leg room.
Hey,
Why not?
Even if there was some.
Right. Right. I'm
Take a
taking
number.
this. So, in men's rooms, I don't know if they're the same in women's rooms, but it's a seat, and it's kind of an oval. It's got a space in the front, It was one of those ones where it was in the chute, ready to go. And as I went to sit down, it was you can only do this one time. The amount of pressure that came out of my ass when I hit the toilet.
The bull kicked the gate open.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The clown wasn't even ready, you know what I'm saying? It hit the water with such pressure. It displaced water. I'm not talking about like I had like
Not a little splash.
No, I'm talking like it shot between my legs, did a fine arch, and there was 3 splashes of water like 4 or 5 foot in front of me. I don't even know how it happened. Like it was like we would need to pull Einstein in here to get the physics of because there was no water on my clothes. And then like woo! Yeah,
create the wave.
And then displaced because there was none on my clothes. And it went through my legs through the gap in the seat, overarched, and hit the water like ping, 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 ping on the floor. And I know this is utterly this is not something that I will probably never get laid again after this. But
they'll get over it.
It was so impressive. I mean, literally, there was that moment where I was just like, it smells red. I'm bleeding. And then it was like, holy shit, I hit water. And it wasn't like me that had splattered. It was like launching a battleship, and the wave goes. Yeah, I was just like,
this could be a new drunken game, man.
Get COVID and see how far you can splatter.
It'd take a lot of Keystone Light, but by God, we can get it done.
Good
Load 'em
Lord,
up, boys.
It'd have to be a warm day. That was good time.
Wow.
Did I tell on one of these episodes? Have I told the time about I used the bathroom or the vestibule in the post office?
I think we mentioned it, but I don't think the whole story was ever revealed.
I think
it was an inside joke kind of a thing.
Oh man, I don't know if I want to tell. Should I tell that story on this one, or just save it for another one?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's just go right into it.
Why not? I mean, we got only a few topics. Yeah. So
this is gonna be called a shitty episode.
The brown bottle special. Anyway, so
don't think you are for this title.
Yeah. Cousin Eddie visits the shitter's full. So I've hauled mail for years, and you know what I'm talking about because you hauled mail with me when I'm going through the story. So
yeah.
It was a fine January day, cold as shit, and I had stopped on the road somewhere. Had a busy work day, hauled fuel, and I stopped somewhere and grabbed food, gas station food, and I get to my starting point.
Not Joe's Kansas City.
No,
that's some good gas station food.
Yeah, this is
like Taco Lady at Speedy's.
I wouldn't even say that. I'm not even for sure it wasn't like Midway because I remember this shit, no pun intended, kicked in quick.
It was like
that. And then 6 miles later, I filled my face. Yeah, it was like food poisoning, obviously. But it was a cold day, and I know I had long underwear on, like I said, same old stuff. Jeans, you know. I've got the tall wool socks that I pulled up over my long underwear.
Oh, yeah.
And I got the jeans and the coveralls, and I've got a jacket on and sweatshirt underneath, the whole nine. I'm bundled up. And I go to start my route. Now in these offices, they have the mail in what's called a vestibule between two doors. There's a locked door, you go inside, and it's essentially a closet, and you can't get into the main post office because they don't trust you.
You can't trust the contract driver.
Right. You can have the mail, but we don't want you actually inside the office where you can use the bathroom if you need to.
Right.
So, I'm sitting there, and my stomach's grumbling again, and I'm like, man, I'm going to have to use the bathroom when I get to it. And there's no offices. The first hour and 15 minutes of that route, there's nothing open in the evening. So, and there's nowhere to stop. There's no stations. There's no...
All these towns are closed down.
Right. It's a few houses and a post office. Right. And so the first 35, 40 miles and hour and 15 minutes or so, there's just nothing. And so I'm opening it up, and I'm like, man, I'm going to have to use the bathroom when I get to, that next town, Maryville. And then I was loading the truck, and I was like, man, I'm going to have to go over to the bar. And as I'm walking from the nose of the truck after loading to the back of the truck, it hit me, and I'm like, I'm not even going to make it to the bar. I'm not even going to make it across the street to the bar. I grabbed, and I had nothing else that I could do. It's freezing cold out. It's open. The dock's open. I grabbed a mail tub, a plastic mail tub. I walked into the vestibule. I shut the door behind me, and I proceed to just peel clothes. I'm throwing my winter jacket off. I'm pulling my sweatshirt off. I'm undoing my bibs. I'm dropping trowel. And as the hot lava starts to erupt out of my body, I drop it like it's hot. I dropped into this mail tub.
Yeah, because they're not real sturdy.
No. And my skinny ass, at that point, I realized, is starting to fall inside the tub. Okay? Now, I didn't get my pants off. I've just got, all the layers bunched from my knees down as best as I can. So there's no leg movement, per se, in this. Now, here's the problem. This plastic mail tub is on a tile floor. So as I'm trying to catch myself from falling completely into the tub, and burying my ass in said hot lava that is spewing forth out of my body, the tub starts to scoot across the floor.
Yeah.
And I am crab walking on my fingertips and the heel of my boots because everything's tied together by my layers. And I'm scooting across the floor till I hit a metal filing cabinet. Wham! I was like, oh, thank God something stopped me. So I'm just balancing here while the rest of my body empties out. At this point, I'm like, whew, I'm like Jeff Daniels' Dumb and Dumber. There's another reference. Just like whew. There's that whew, that moment where you're like, oh, thank God I didn't, I made that one. At this point, all I had in my pocket was napkins from the gas station that I grabbed. Right. So I'm doing the John Wayne rough and tough, just cleaning myself up the best I can. And thanks to my dad knowledge, I always carry some wet wipes, so I did the best I could there. At this point, I need to pick the tub up and do something with it.
And they're not sealed really well on the corners.
No, they are not meant for fluid compactness. So at this point, I go to pick up the tub and I realize it is leaking everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I grab another tub and I throw it in there and I just throw it out on the dock real quick, And when I say throw, that's an exaggeration. I gently slide because I don't want it splashing out like an overfull fish bowl. Okay?
You might get that wave that comes out that...
Right. So I do that and I clean up the spots with napkins and I'm just disgusted at my own existence at this point. And I realized that because it had scooted back against this metal filing cabinet,
oh, I forgot about this.
There was more fluid. The fluid had been leaking under the whole time. And every time I wipe, more come out. Wipe, more come out. I'm like, oh my Lord. And here's the thing. At this point, you got to ask yourself, well, do I call and tell the postmaster what's going on? Or do I do the best I can do, show up early with Pine Sol, go home, come back up tonight, whatever I need to do, At this point, I just want to avoid telling anybody, because once you tell somebody you shit in their closet, you will never be the guy that didn't shit in their closet. You will just
Right.
forever be known as the guy that shit in their closet.
Yeah.
So,
And you kind of frequented that town every now and then.
right,
so,
right. I
you know.
really just, I just didn't want to
Didn't really want
worry
that.
about it. Yeah, so there was an old straw broom in there. There's no mop, but there was an old straw broom in there. She used to brush the floor out with. And I ran out to the truck and I had a bottle of water in my bag. And so I poured a little water on, swept. Water swept. Water swept. And I did that until it quit coming out from under the metal filing cabinet. To this day, that metal filing cabinet has not moved. I dare say it would probably be stuck to the tile.
Yeah.
If anybody moves at it at some point, they're going to be like, what the fuck spilled under this?
What is
you
this?
know?
Let's start wiping this up.
Yeah, that's a lot of rusty water there. But I grab 3 stacks of tubs, or 3 tubs stacked together, and I throw it in the back of the truck, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do with this at this point, So I came to 2 towns over. There was a town with a printery. Nobody's there. If anybody from home knows what town I'm talking about,
Forgive me.
forgive me, because it's right next to a monastery.
Yeah.
And I looked over there, and there's a dumpster in the corner. Nobody's around. So I go over there, and I put the tubs in the dumpster. I get back in the mail truck, and I drive away like, pray to God nobody ever sees me, right?
Right.
The next morning, I'm on the route, and I pull up to that same office, and I open the door, and I throw the mail out, and a trash truck pulls in behind me. And at this point, I'm not even thinking about it, right? And so I'm squaring shit away. I shut the door. I go to climb in the truck, and I look up, and the trash truck the guy's going over there to wheel the dumpster to the trash truck. And he see him. He's like, oh, what's inside here? And I'm sure most trash guys probably do, like, oh, what goodies do we have together? Yeah. And he looks in there, and he sees the mail tubs, and he's like, he's probably thinking he's going to save them, right? The only people in this lot at this point in the morning are him and I. And I've got a giant U.S. mail on the side of this truck.
You make eye contact for a moment.
Oh, yeah. He goes to pick up the tubs, and then he seemed like throw it down and like step back like, oh, like he just seemed like a severed dick in there or something. He's like, oh my God, what the hell is wrong with people? And he kind of looks up, and then he looks around at me, and I'm in my truck like, and he looks at me, and I'm looking at him, and he's like, you son of a... You can just tell it's like clicking with him, and I'm like, like, got the fuck out of there.
You're like,
I don't know, there's fucking hobos around here, I guess.
I only drive on Tuesday. I don't know.
And today's Wednesday, so that had to be from this morning.
Couldn't have been. Well, damn.
So yeah, I when the lady retired, I did tell her that story.
Did you?
And she laughed about it, and she felt sorry, but she was like, you're right, I probably never would have seen you as the guy that didn't shit in my closet.
And now she doesn't see you.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Anything
so
but
it's,
that.
yeah.
It
is what it is.
Been revealed, and now all you.
Yeah,
and,
now it's on YouTube. And now I always think about the labels on the side of those tubs that said there's a federal offense stuff. I'm
Right,
like,
I'm
well,
just
if you
thinking
want these
like,
tubs back, I mean, you can have them back, but I seriously tore that shit up.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'll get a knock on the door from federal agents. You destroyed federal property. Well, I really had to shit and you didn't have a bathroom. So.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll leave the door unlocked eventually.
Yeah,
If they
something.
do that, but, oh, wow. Well, kind of along those lines, and speaking of us being on video, and we're talking about how, God, I need to lose some weight here.
Right. Because we both, when we started recording, both of us were like, this whole side view thing is not working out. Yeah, maybe if I face this way.
How big can you get a girdle?
Get some of those Spanx undershirts.
But no, I had a couple teeth cut out here this last week, so I couldn't eat anything solid. It did kind of suck, but the good news is, since I couldn't eat anything but like pudding and yogurt and shit, I didn't eat very much, and I lost like 10 pounds.
Oh no shit!
Yeah. And so what I've been doing is I realized, you know what? I wasn't even that hungry, really. So now I eat like one meal a day.
Right.
I'm like, I can just eat one meal a day, eat till I'm full,
Right.
And I'm trying to cut out some pop, so, and we'll see how it works, but
You got any headaches
so
yet?
far, not yet.
That's
Not
what I always
yet.
hear.
I'm
People
waiting
that
for it, because
like
usually,
have a heavy soda addiction and they'll cut it out and it's like,
Yeah.
ooh, caffeine.
yeah, and I've tried it before, and it did that.
Did that?
Yeah.
Because
So,
you've got migraines anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, if it comes on, I've got get out of jail free cards,
Right.
I'm getting an emergency one. Don't bother me. Pretty much everywhere I am, there's always a soda available somewhere.
Right. Right. Jack's mom got migraines too. Her trigger was onions.
Really?
Yeah. So you go out to
Wow.
eat cheeseburger or something.
Yeah.
You can.
I've heard like nuts and cheese and things
Really?
like that, but
No, that's new.
milk and
Yeah, of course, Jack's mom had a softball-sized tumor in the back of her head when she was like 10 and had to relearn how to write and walk and
Really?
talk. And, oh yeah.
Wow.
And there was like a zipper from the back of her head clear down, which was a nice guarantee that she would always keep her hair long. She wouldn't like go Sigourney Weaver Butch on me or anything. But whatever.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that was always a big thing that I always...
I mean, it's not funny that
Right,
she had
right.
the tumor and
right.
the migraines.
It wasn't genetic. I think it was just a fluke. Like they must have lived under power lines. And I don't know. But yeah.
Wow.
Anyways,
Yeah, crazy times, man. Something else I was gonna say.
yeah.
I want to shout out to my wife. We had our 19-year anniversary
Congratulations.
yesterday.
Jesus, 19. Next year's
Yeah.
20.
20.
I mean, isn't there a special like at 20 years? What do? You got to buy him what, silver?
I think it's 25 is silver. 10 is like, I think 5 is like paper or something.
Oh hell, I don't know.
And I don't know. I looked it up once.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe pewter or something. I don't know. 10,
Computer. There you go, baby.
not pooter. Not pooter.
Yeah, she has to give up the butt sex. That's what
That's
the
what's
20
good. There
is.
you go.
I don't know, honey. It was on the internet. It's got to be true.
I read it. I don't know. Maybe I wrote it.
My grandpa told me that once.
Yeah.
The thing is do you realize how many people don't even make the 10-year, let alone the 20-year?
I know. But man, it's gone like it hadn't even happened.
Right.
you know?
Well, and you guys could potentially make it 50 years, and there's not many people that,
Right.
from our generation that make 50 years of marriage,
Yeah.
unless they're just,
That's the goal, I guess.
one's deaf and one's blind or something.
Right.
Like Richard Pryor and oh shit, what the hell? He
God.
played Willy Wonka with Gene Wilder.
Yeah, Gene Wilder.
When it was
Yeah.
when one was blind and one was deaf, and they had to rely on each other in that movie. Yeah. Why can't I find a girl like that?
Yeah, no shit.
She'd have to be blind and deaf, but it would be perfect because I could get fat and just mouth off and
Yeah. I would say put an ad out on Craigslist, but
Yeah.
she's blind and
see
deaf.
if Helen Keller's got a granddaughter or something around. Looking for the Helen Keller
And
of
the
my
emails.
dreams.
We're trying to offend you with the emails.
Yeah,
but-
bring it on, would you? Anyways, so you want to know what I heard this week?
What's that?
So I got a couple things that came up the last week, but so we kind of touched on the social climate. Let's call it the social climate of things that go on. Target, I guess, was handing out for their employees a shirt that supported Black Lives Matter. And there was a lot of people that were opinionated either way. Some people were like, oh, I've never shopped at Target, but I'm going to shop there from now on. And then there's other people that were just utterly disdained by it, and I understand both. But here's my thing.
Now, were the employees required to wear them?
As far as I know, they were
hey,
here,
wear a
these.
shirt. Here's a shirt.
The way I understood it was, hey, here's these shirts, we're wearing them right now.
Now that I disagree with.
Me too. Here's my hashtag me too. Pound me too. So here's my thing. when we were younger, you were kind of always taught there was a few subjects that you don't talk about at work, or in company that you're unfamiliar with,
right?
And that was politics, religion, and
her.
So politics and religion, you just and that's the thing. Honestly, that doesn't matter.
If we could get back to that, that would be great.
Yeah, and honestly, when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter. If you're at work and you're getting along with somebody, everybody's doing their job, what's the rest matter? It really bothers me that these companies think that it is necessary to make a social stance on something.
Right.
Here's my product. It's a good product, it's a bad product. Buy it or don't.
Right.
There's no need. Because here's the thing. Out of their shareholders, that's going to affect people that, like the opinion said, I'm going to shop there forever. Some people are like, I'm not shopping there anymore at all. That's going to affect the shareholders. If you want your company to be successful, you have no business. If you're in the business of selling something, or just like Chick-fil-A, making food, I understand that if you're a privately owned company and you feel that strongly that you have that right. If you were not, if you're publicly traded, if you were a business, maybe don't.
Right.
You will never see in my lot something out there that says all lives matter, Black Lives Matter.
Right.
You won't see that. You'll see an American flag out on the holidays.
Yeah.
And that's as far as I go.
Yeah.
I'm not even particularly comfortable putting out political signs in my yard.
Right.
I put one out this year. It was a customer that asked me.
Yeah.
I said, okay. Other than that, I did turn down others.
Right.
But I just don't see why anybody in the world needs to A, hold a company accountable as long as they're not doing anybody any wrong.
Right.
And B, why in the hell, even if it is privately owned like Chick-fil-A is, why they need.
Right.
I just don't see a need in that.
Yeah.
And it's back to that. Everybody feels now with this entitlement of social media that they have the power to voice their opinion out there. So it is their right or a necessity to do so. And I'm like, it's not a necessity. We don't need to.
Kind of goes back to,
we don't need to know.
Do I need to say this?
Right.
And do I need to say this now?
Right. I mean, when
And-
ExxonMobil crashed and they were killing baby seals and seagulls, and they didn't do anything about it, that kind of thing. Yeah, somebody needs to step up and go, you need to be held accountable.
Right.
But other than that,
Yeah.
if they're not hurting anybody,
Well, I guess my opinion is slightly different. I would have a problem giving them the shirts and saying, "Hey guys, we're wearing these shirts."
right?
I mean, that's forcing your opinion on other people.
Right. No, I agree.
If you want to have a commercial that says, "Hey, we're better than this," or we're, whatever. Okay. Then it's everybody's choice if they want to shop there or not.
Right.
Or, where Nike had the Colin Kaepernick thing or whatever,
Right.
It's like, they knew what they were doing at the time,
Right.
They knew it was a good move for them financially.
Mm-hmm.
They're not stupid,
Right.
They're not in it necessarily for the social justice,
Mm-hmm. They're
still in it for the money,
Right.
at the end of the day. And so, they look around and they go, oh, this is what's popular right now,
Yeah.
It's not popular with
This group spends
everybody.
this much money with us. What can we do to
Right. It's
risk
obviously
versus
not popular
reward?
with everybody.
Right.
But I love, speaking of the Colin Kaepernick thing, everybody that has been, boycotting the NFL all these years, but they still post every week about their team. And
Right.
I'm like,
Boycotting.
you're
huh?
good with that, aren't you?
Yeah, really.
It's like when they
Bending it
boycotted
off.
like Dillard's or something. It's like, oh, you shop at Dillard's, okay?
I don't
Really
know.
going out on the limb there, aren't you?
I guess I don't understand when everybody's opinion became what they felt like needed to be valued by other people.
Right.
I just could give a shit less.
If you
As
want to
long
put it
as-
out there, great.
Right.
But
Yeah, don't expect a pat on the back. Don't
Right.
expect people to listen. Don't expect people to agree. And honestly, all you're going to do is, in the long run, you're either going to keep the friends that agree with you and lose the ones that don't,
Right.
or you're going to make a lot more enemies, one of the two. But honestly, that's right back to, because those people are still like, oh, well, my opinions is more than yours. And I'm like, that social media entitlement just drives me absolutely nuts.
Right.
I've got a platform that reaches
Well, we
a
are
lot of people, right, while we're on the podcast. But we're more like, hey, I just spent 12 minutes telling poop stories.
Right.
Yeah,
Now
that's
here's this.
my gig. That's my shtick, you know? I'm
Yeah.
JoJo the fucking bouncing clown over here.
If you want me to do the little song and dance, you're gonna
Right.
get my opinions as well.
Yeah, but I'm not putting that face on a business. You know, you're never gonna see BJ on the rocks on the side of my trucks.
Why not?
I mean, if we would start making millions of dollars, then I wouldn't need the truck.
I want you to wear a fire suit and have all kinds of shit on.
Number 69.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know, man. It just drives me nuts. Everybody thinks their opinion needs to be heard, and if it's not affecting your bubble, shut the fuck up and give your attention to the people that deserve it. Your family, your loved ones, your kids. Get off your fucking phone. Quit posting about your team and if Black Lives Matter and your opinions, and spend some time with your kids.
Yeah.
Teach them your opinions so
Well,
they go on to rationalize a reasonable world.
Right. Well, I think a lot of these, you know, this is kind of a product of the millennial movement, really.
Oh yeah,
You know,
I'll agree with that.
and I think a lot of them grew up without the some of the parenting they needed, and some of the more. How do I want to word that? I don't want to be taken wrong, because it's gonna be taken wrong if I word it the wrong way. But
It's all how you hold your mouth.
well, yeah. That's what he said. But I think, you know, it's by a lot of kids who've been alone a lot. You know,
To come up
they've
with
been
their own norm.
and they've been sheltered in a certain way, and they've been, you know,
Right.
and they've always been told they're special, and their opinion matters, and they can be anything they want. You know?
You have a right
Right.
from the day one.
Right. And that's where I think a lot of it is a problem, because then they feel like they have to affect some like grand scheme social
Things, right.
issue, where it's like, no, and they don't have kids yet, you know, so they haven't been hit with reality,
Right.
Of like, you know, oh, you mean there's more important shit than, you know, whatever all this is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were growing up, you know, like you said, it was, you know, once every couple of years you go into the voting booth, you vote, and next day you find out who won, and you went on with your life, you know.
Right.
It was not your identity.
Right.
You know?
Well, and us as kids, I don't remember really having a right to an opinion, per se.
Well, when we were kids, we did not have a right to
Right.
it.
And these kids these days, it's like, what do you want for dinner? And you see parents making 3 different meals, and it's like,
Yeah.
no. How's your kid ever going to expand their horizons, you know, if they're eating pizza and mac and cheese every night? You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hot dogs and whatever. And yeah, there's a point where you just want your kid to eat, but at the same time, Jack's 7 and he'll eat sauerkraut.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, we tried like hell to get Michaela to eat meat.
Right.
And finally she had a pork chop.
And she was okay with that?
And she was like, oh, that's good. Because I made sure it was a good one, you know. It wasn't like some dry thing that somebody,
Right.
you know, overcooked and shit out of, you know.
Here's
It was a
some
good
bacon.
juicy one. Yeah, and then had some good like honey cured ham, you know. Tried that. Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's some, you know.
Welcome
yeah.
to pork, my daughter.
It's like, life can be good. You know?
Yeah.
And now she's eating, you know, hamburgers and stuff. So that's
There you go.
know, but yeah, it was like hell getting her off of mac and cheese. You know, it's like,
Well,
there's more to life.
Jack's older brother, his mom and I kind of went back and forth because she's like, well, her 2 older boys, they don't like to eat leftovers. They're gonna have a really rough time then whenever they get out on their own.
Yeah.
So,
we lived on leftovers.
I was gonna say, my mom worked, and my dad worked, and it was at the end of their days, by Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
You better pray that they cooked earlier in the week. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We didn't eat out all the time.
Man,
and
we-
shit. So
Yeah. Oh my God. When
eating
we were
out
growing
was
up.
a treat.
Yeah. And really, I mean, so we joke about this. And my mom was not a cook.
Right.
Her mom was an excellent cook.
Right. Generationally speaking.
It's one of those things, skip the generation kind of thing. And her sisters are, about the same, honestly.
Right.
Yeah. They all have like one good dish that they make, that they all inherit.
And they all bring it for
from
Thanksgiving
mom.
and Christmas.
Right. And so, so growing up, it was a lot of,
Hamburger helper.
chili or hamburger helper or sandwiches or
Hamburger helper.
grilled
It was,
cheese
it
and
was skillet,
tomato soup.
Skillet masters or whatever
Yeah,
they
right.
call it.
We
you
just
know?
had helper. We couldn't
Yeah.
afford hamburger, And but yeah, man, that was my growing up. And then when I started dating Tish, her mom cooked all the time. She was the
Right, Gail, yeah.
she'd have like a whole meal,
Right.
And I'd go over there on like Sundays after church, and she'd have a Sunday dinner, and it was turkey, stuffing, rolls, homemade rolls, and all the shit. And it was like, oh shit.
I
Your
remember.
mom's so amazing.
You did inherit that, right?
Yeah, no, she did not.
And the funny thing is we worked with Gail at McDonald's when we were in high school.
Yeah.
And I remember her telling me that, and I was like, she's full of shit. Who does that these days?
Yeah. And so my parents, they always knew where I was. It was
for
always
sure,
at Gail and Kenny's because it was,
Mhm.
and Dad would ask me when I got home, so what'd you have for lunch today? Oh, pork chops and
He'd be like, his
roast,
stomach's gargling.
fucking roast and shit. Fuck, man, this is a whole meal. And but then she stopped doing that, and they got busy, and she took on some more jobs, and he took on no more jobs, and it's just life, But kids aren't home; they quit doing that. But
Well, yeah, and life gets busy and you move on.
it does, but but yeah, then it was like. Now we go over there for dinner or whatever, and she's made way too much, so she can send a bunch home with you.
That's
And
nice.
It's like, hey, we're eating for the next couple days.
Yep, we got good eating. Kids, you don't like leftovers, right?
Oh my God, there was no way we could survive without leftovers.
Oh yeah.
When we were younger.
No,
Man, when we got started, Jesus, I was making like what, $7 an hour
Right.
when we got married, and she was waitressing, I think, so she was making, nothing.
Right.
$2 an hour plus tips, one of those kind of things.
Yep.
And I look back and it's like, man, we struggled, but we made it.
Right.
And it's like, fuck, the things we made it through. Jesus Christ,
19
man.
years. It's a lot of time.
I mean, the place we're in now is like light years ahead of where we were. And it's like, man, I don't know. So what I'm saying to any of the young kids out there just getting married, stick with it. It's going to get better.
Eat the leftovers.
Eat the leftovers every night if you have to. And it's going to get better, man.
Yeah.
Might take 19 years, but by God, you're going to make it. Okay, shout outs this week?
No, I really don't. It seems like this week's just goes by
I had a couple.
fast.
I don't know if you saw. You might not have. I don't know if it was on just Facebook or not, but one of our listeners, Christina, her daughter has started driving, and
Oh yeah.
was in a wreck.
Yeah.
And
It was right off the highway, I guess, when I
oh
called
yeah,
mail,
it looked like it just like went like off the road and just down in the ditch.
Yeah,
It looked bad.
I would bet.
the car. I was like, holy shit.
You know those gravel roads, they've got the rain and they've got the washouts. Excuse me. I'm guessing probably what happened was inattentive, new drivers going faster than they should have.
got off a little bit, and
got sucked in the ditch, and
it don't take nothing. I mean,
no,
yeah. And luckily they're okay.
Yep.
So that's good. We're glad to hear that. But my God, that makes me like
nervous for your kid.
Because Dakota's a driving age. I mean, he's, you know, I haven't got his truck inspected, you know. Right. So it's not licensed yet. And it's like, yeah, and he hasn't got his license. So I'm just like, you know, we got time.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it. Because the first time I took him out, maybe it was the second time, we were on a gravel road in my Cougar, Mercury Cougar, V8, V8 rear-wheel drive. Right. What could go wrong, you know?
Yeah, why not?
And man, I took him out and pulled up to the stop sign. I'm like, all right, look both ways. Had the windows down so I could hear if anybody's coming, you know. I'm like, all right, turn the wheel, and just tap the gas. Just touch it. Like, don't even like push on it. Just touch it. It's gonna go. You know? Just touch it. Like, put your foot on it and just that's it. It's gonna go. You know.
Yeah.
It's sensitive. You know. And he's like, all right. And he kind of hit it, and the tire just started spinning, and he let off. And I was like, okay, now you understand. It's gonna go.
Right.
Just touch it.
Right.
Just tap it in, right? Just tap it in. And I'm like, just, you know, it doesn't take anything. Just touch it. It's going to go, you know. We're already turned. You know. She's like, all right. Again, floored it. I don't think he floored it, but it was enough to go. And then he panicked, and then he just pushed it down, and it was like,
away it went.
We were going.
Yeah. Off
like a rocket, man. And it was like, luckily we were turned, so we at least started heading down the right direction.
Right.
But it ended up going through this guy's yard and his ditch, heading toward the next ditch, and I'm grabbing the wheel,
trying to help,
saying, let off of everything. You know, just pick your feet up, you know, and while trying to not hit the dog in the mailbox and the tree, and, you know.
Right.
Luckily, there were no other cars around. We ended up facing the other direction in the other guy's ditch, you know. Not a big ditch, just a little side of the road, you know. But, and dust everywhere. And as calm as I am, I mean, you know, we get done, we get stopped, and I'm just like, guess we're done for the day. He's like, yeah.
I'm gonna need to change these pants, Dad.
I'm like, all right, straight places, you know. And he didn't want to go out for about the next month. You know?
Just without.
And the next time we went out, it was in the van, you know, so that was a lot better. But he would go like 5 miles an hour, and I was like, gotta pick it up a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
So no, we've been working on it, but his thing is quick decision making, you know. And so that's why I'm like, I'm not in a hurry to get you out there on the road with everybody.
Right.
I gotta see
them
you.
You gotta worry about as much as everybody else.
Yeah, and I'm like, I want to see him make some decisions, you know,
right,
in some situations before I'm like, all right, here you go, you know.
Yep.
So
I get that.
Because things like this keep happening. I'm going,
yeah. Well, and again, that's why I'm a big advocate of, again, like everybody's heard on here, the father relationship.
Oh, yeah.
And I really believe that, especially for men, anyways, the same-sex parent, the father and the son relationship is so hugely important.
Yeah.
Because only you will know your son and when he's ready to start making those decisions. His mom wouldn't be able to tell him, when he's ready. Because that's you're seeing a little bit
right.
of, and helping. And you can only you can judge that.
Yeah. Well, especially because I'm the only one that's willing to go out with her. She won't do it.
I'm the only one that's insured.
Yeah. I got a lot more life insurance. I'm worth a lot more dead than alive. But
taking care of my family.
Yeah. But teens driving. How were you when the other boys started driving? Is that an issue with you, or are you kind of like...
Well, their dad really took over
I didn't know
for that.
How
Yeah,
much
because
he was...
Oh, he was always there, but it was pick and choose.
Oh, gotcha.
And it was a lot of... he was worried that would be taken away from him.
Gotcha.
And as a father,
I get that.
I get that.
Yeah.
I do. But in another sense, one thing I realized after growing up and kind of being in the situation and whatnot, as long as they're good people, the more people that care about your kids, the better.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that mean you want to be kicked out of there? Like, no. But God willing, if you're not in a relationship with your child's other parent, that you can make it work. You don't use the kid as tools.
Right.
You know, you put your personal feelings aside and go, this is what's best.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and really focus on the fact that if they picked out a decent person, in the kid's eyes, that's never going to be replaced as long as you're involved in doing your part. And kids don't choose like that. If you're there and you're doing your job and you're doing decent and the other person's caring, then that's all they see.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like I've said several times, Ben that raised me, I wouldn't be who I am today without him. But I remember, like you tell that story about the gravel road, you know, we pulled off a gravel road on the way to Pickering, and he had it was an 89 or 89 or 90. It was that Red Ranger that Josh and I and he taught me how to drive a stick in that. And it had a real goofy clutch on it, and my mom couldn't even drive it. And but it had kind of a goofy clutch in it, and he taught me how to drive in that on a gravel road on the way to Pickering.
Yeah.
And that was a big bonding moment I felt like anyways for us, because and that was something that, like I said, he come from a good place. It wasn't like, you know, some of these people now compete for kids. Like it just, you know, the more people that care about your kid and can be involved, and if you're doing your job, you shouldn't have to worry about competing.
No.
So
yeah, it should never be about that. That's a good way to look at it like that. That makes me feel good about my kid because, I see.
See how good of a
see
guy
how
I
much
am now. And you're
Yeah.
not where I was going, Brent.
But yeah, go with that. Kudos to Brent. But no, he's I see a lot of older people that have a lot of respect for Dakota, and that means a lot as a parent to know that those people see, you know, them a certain way,
and the upbringing
that you've done something right, you know, that they at least are respectful to people and, you know, can communicate with people, and they're not, you know, because he's got enough issues as it is, dealing with social situations, and probably who knows if he'll ever live on his own, you know, type of thing, you know, but. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be like next door to us if it is, because his mom won't let him, you know.
Get a house with a garage above the apartment.
There you go. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I was kind of thinking while you were telling that. I found I think, have you heard of these subscription boxes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Seems like women get a lot of these things. Right. And I was like, God, there's got to be something for men, right? Like tools a month or something like that, you know? And so I started searching for that, and I found this site, right?
Oh, God.
Called cratejoy.com.
Okay.
All right. And you go to the subcategory of for men.
Okay.
Most of it's bullshit, right? But there are some good ones. There's some that are like, I guess like survival knives or whatever, you know. But there are some. One was, I think it would be good for like men who didn't have that father figure growing up, or you know, and now they're like kind of like, hey, now you're on your own.
Right.
Oh shit, how do I fix the toilet or whatever, you know? And it's, oh god, what was it? I'll have to find it. But what I was originally looking at was there's a Flaviar or whatever, and it's like they send you whiskey or whatever, you know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but it's like you get 3 vials, you know, like 2 ounces or something like that.
Right.
And you get 3 of those every 3 months or something like that. Plus, every 3 months you can like pick a premium bottle of whatever, you know, and you get like extra shit, you know.
Right.
But that was like $100.
Holy balls.
Like for those 3 months, like so, you know, $400 a year, and I'm like, maybe not worth it.
Right. 2 ounces, I don't think so.
So then I got looking at others, and that's what kind of got me onto that. And I took a screenshot of it, but not that. I won't say that again.
Jesus, those are big titties, John.
Yeah, you know what we're talking about. This one's called the Craftsman Crate. It is a subscription box that builds your skills. It has real tools, real skills, and complete kits. And that's like $30 a month. And I'm like, that would be good for some kids, you know? Like
Right.
getting out on their own, and here you go, you know? I mean, now, I know what $30 a month was to me when I was,
Oh, yeah.
you know, 20 years old.
Yeah.
That's lunch.
Right.
You know, so, but there's a lot out there for, you know, different cars and, you know, car kits and like I say, knives and just tactical shit and shirts and beer and whatever, you know.
All kinds of stuff, yeah.
So if you got some money to burn and you're a guy and you're like, my wife is spending $50 a month on this stupid box that comes with, should I say it about my wife? It comes with like cat shit, you know? Not cat shit, but like
Right,
shit,
right.
shit about cats, right?
Right.
And it ain't $50. It's like $20 a month. But anyway, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get some pocket knives. You know? So, you know, I earned some money. I'm gonna
splurge a little bit.
get something in the mail every now and then.
I don't know. If I had a woman that spent $50 on her box a month,
On her box?
It better be something that I can enjoy about her box as well.
Oh yeah.
Most of the boxes that I've had in the past, I didn't spend $50 a month on.
Yeah. Right. Oh, there's another one that was really cool. It was a vinyl club.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And this one, it was called Vinyl Post Record Club. And you get a postcard-sized vinyl record with a handwritten note from the artist or whatever. And it's like $4 a month.
That's
You
it?
get one of those. So it'd be like one song or something like
Right.
that. You know, but I'm like, that would be kind of cool.
That's kind of cool, yeah.
Even just to be like, look what I got.
Right.
This little
I've
record.
got a record player in there
Yeah.
that I bought 2 years ago, I think, and because I inherited some of Dad's records.
Right.
And, there's a antique store that has a large selection down there in St. Joe.
Yes.
What's that guy's name?
Across from
Dave.
Stetson.
You're right. Yeah, but the guy's booth, his name
Yeah.
is Dave. I think.
God, man, I talked to him once. He used
Super
to have
nice
a booth.
guy.
Yeah, he used to have a booth at. God, it was a different
Hunterland.
like Hunterland. Yeah, and here goes that mouse again, or a different one, but
Oh dang, he's moving, isn't he?
yes, he is. Anyway, yeah, he had a booth down there, and Tish had a booth down there, and so while she was doing her shit, I'm like, I'm gonna go look at the records, you know.
Yep.
And what was it called? A record exchange or something like that.
Right.
And so I went over there, and he happened to be there, and yeah, I talked to him for 30, 40 minutes, and he's like, well, just pick out some stuff, and I'll make you a deal, you know. And so I'm like digging through like the bottom crates, you know.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
I'm like, this is the stuff I'm into. I'm like, where's all your like old country?
Right.
Because I like classic rock, but I don't want to pay $30 a record, you know. Or,
Right.
It isn't worth that bad, but
No,
but like $8, $10, you know. But
you do have to check them. You gotta pull them out and look at them.
yeah,
Make sure they're
yeah,
not
'cause you never
sprayed.
know, you know.
And they're not because he put them there. It's,
Right, it's from years of
Years of
use.
use.
That's what they do. But yeah, I think I picked out like, I don't know, 10 or 15, and you know, most of them were like Merle Haggard and stuff like that. I found a couple George Carlins,
nice.
and then I got like a couple of nice ones, like a Flying Burrito Brothers. That was really nice, and the Birds, I think, was one of them. And he was like, those two were the nice ones, and he was like, well, I see you got these two, and I'm like, yeah, throw those in there, you know, just tell me what you want, you know. And I think it was like, you know, $15 for like all of it, and like one of those records was $10. So I'm like, I know he made me a deal, but
Right.
yeah, super nice guy. But yeah, if you're into vinyl, check that out. I can't remember the name of the place though.
But yeah,
It's the old
Cherry Mash.
Cherry Mash Chase Candy place.
Yeah. It's off of 169 at Love's, and then you head back north. And, yeah. No, I need to go down there sometime. Seems like this year's just flown by and it's been goofy.
Speaking of albums, unless you had something.
No, go ahead.
That was one of the things I was gonna say. I'm trying to come up with a list of like my favorite albums, but
That's
one of the things that I was, oh my god, because it keeps changing, you know. But the other day I was driving, I was listening to a Jason Isbell album, and the Nashville Sound. It came out in 2016, I think, and 2017, something like that. Anyway, I remember when that came out, I waited till that Saturday morning, and I got up early before everybody else, and I just went out in the truck and just took that album, and it got done, and I was like, holy shit, I gotta listen to that again. Because there was so much on it, and it was, you know, his writing, you're gonna miss something, you know.
Right.
I heard something different every time, but he had like 3 albums right there from like 2013 to 2017. It was a Southeastern. That the big song on that was "Cover Me Up."
Right.
And
that was a good one.
And knowing his story, you know, just that song just, you know, gets you every time.
Oh yeah.
That, and then the next one was "Something More Than Free."
I love that one too.
That, like, some of that stuff just reminds me of like my relationship with my dad and the way he looked at work, and you know, when I was a kid and all that. You know,
that's how I felt. It hit me.
Yeah.
Is you know, that effort.
Yeah. And the new one, his new one he's got is oh shit, I can't remember. Anyway, he's got a new one out.
400. What is it?
It's him in the 400 unit, and
Right.
I got it right here. But it's the album. The new album is called Reunions. That's what it is. But the one that I was talking about was Nashville Sound, and it's got If We Were Vampires was a big one off of that.
That was a good one too. Yeah.
And every song on there, Anxiety, Molotov, Something to Love was I think the last song, and on Something to Love, he's talking about he grew up in a tiny little town with all his family around. They made music on the porch on Sunday nights, and I was like, that was my growing up right there. Like,
right,
you know, old man with old guitar smoking Winston Lights. And I'm like,
yeah.
How do you know what Grandpa's like? You know? It's like, man, you hit me, man. What the hell?
Yeah.
But man, he's a hell of a writer. I'll tell you that. And he's something to aspire to. I'll put it that way.
Well,
for my writing, anyway.
There's a few of them out there again that through this last 4 years of this presidency, I can't stand people that again have to throw in a political agenda.
Yeah.
I'm like, you didn't get famous.
I knew you were going to go there with that one.
You didn't get famous for your political agenda. Let's not bring it in.
Yeah.
You're not a voice for the minority. You're just vocalizing.
Just another voice.
Yeah, just another voice in the crowd.
Yeah.
And I think that just antagonizes everything else that's going on.
Yeah.
I heard last week that Chris Stapleton made a big public announcement that he was on Black Lives Matter, and it lost a lot of his fan base.
He was for it or against, or what?
He was advocating for Black Lives Matter.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Not all lives matter. Black lives matter.
Right.
And despite your opinions on whatever, it lost him some of that country fan base. Now here's the thing, anybody who knew Chris Stapleton before he was Chris Stapleton probably either A, seen that coming, or B, really doesn't give a shit.
Right.
But, the people that only know him for like 3 or 4 songs,
right,
they're gone now. And that's what honestly kind of made him.
Yeah.
You know, was that, and I'm just like, I just don't understand why it was a necessity to even vocalize it.
Right.
I mean, we all know right now the social climate of things. We all know that. It's just I don't.
Well, that's why I was.
Unless you're going to do something more than talk about it, you don't need to vocalize it.
I thought about getting a sign for my yard. Not the Black Lives Matter one, but a political sign. Just because my neighbor across the street has a flag, and I was like, I just want to like just rub him wrong, you know, just because. That's what I'm like. I'm like, no, because then all it's gonna do is he's gonna hate me. Just
throwing the gas on the
he's
fire.
He's gonna think I'm this kind of person,
right?
Because I think he's that kind of person. You know?
Yeah,
so it's
that,
like fuck it.
It's that prejudiceness that honestly,
yeah.
Unless it affects your circle, don't waste your energy on it because you're giving your energy away to something, and you're taking it away from the important things. The people that are in your circle,
your bubble, man.
You're loosening the masonry on your foundation.
Yeah.
If you're not putting that energy forth, like nobody needs to know that you're on vacation. You don't need to take 12 selfies. You don't need to. If you can't get that affirmation at home, and you're wasting your time putting out political signs and shit like that. Now, I've got a flag in my yard.
Right.
The American flag.
Right.
And
yeah. Oh, and I'm putting one out eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
it's the only flag I'll fly, but
right. That's I don't.
Yeah.
I do have the right below my American flag, and I have the Texas flag. But I've got the "Don't Tread on Me" flag right in it. And honestly, that doesn't have anything to do with anything other than the fact that I think our government's
right.
It had a job.
It's
overstepped their bounds.
Yeah.
Let's get back to basics.
Yeah. Yeah, on both sides.
On both sides. That doesn't have anything to do with political affiliation.
Right,
That's
right.
saying
they've ruined everything.
Right. Just if I can go back to your job was infrastructure and protecting us as a country, and that's it.
Yeah. Right.
No more.
No, it's
no less.
Like I said, it's become a game to them.
Oh yeah.
And a scheme to keep their seat, to keep their power, and
to keep their paycheck.
Let's
be honest.
Right. Yeah, it's about
they'll be
money.
swayed either way. It's just about money and power and ego trips.
Yeah. And once you get some of that power and money, it's addictive.
Yep.
And they'll do anything to keep it. And it doesn't necessarily mean doing the best for the country.
Right.
It's about fucking the other side and whatever.
Look at me. I want the attention. And like I said, people, if you're spending your time online arguing about that shit,
Yeah.
You're taking away from stuff you're going to regret. Because when you're 80 and you don't have the energy to give a shit anymore, you're going to wish you still were sitting on the couch with your kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm as guilty as anybody about playing on my phone. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means. Right. But there are times that I have to check myself and go, okay.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a moment that I'm going to miss in 2 years.
Yeah.
Memories on Snapchat or something.
Be like that, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I see memories of Jack 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And there was one where...
I love when those start rolling.
Right.
You're just like...
Oh, when they were cute.
It's supposed to be like 10 years and they're going...
Right. Right.
What the hell?
Well, some of the 9/11 videos that pop up, and I'm like, God, that footage looks so old.
I know, right?
But I still remember it.
Like it was yesterday.
Like it was yesterday, yeah. But anyways, this memory of Jack pops up, and we were out eating Mexican. It was just him and me, and he's trying salsa for the first time. And he's telling me a story about the painting on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
He's made up this whole story, and I'm like, and he's so adamant. He's, this is what happened, and that's why that's that way. And I'm like, I already missed that, and that's already been 3 years, 2 years, whatever. And I'm like,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you're like, okay, take the picture, put your phone down.
Right. Yeah.
Live in the moment a little bit.
I see people at a concert doing this.
And they're watching the concert through their phone.
Yeah. And I'm like, you're missing the concert.
When we went to Bob Dylan, we each got one picture.
One picture each. Yep. I was like, I'm just going to get this real quick.
Yep.
So that I remember what the fuck it looked like.
Right. And that was a good set.
Yeah,
he had a
really
really
beautiful
awesome
set.
Yeah.
those antique like lamps.
Yeah, there was a mannequin. Yeah, it was eclectic. It was neat.
Yeah,
it was that was definitely one of my.
Yeah,
I'm glad I went.
Well, speaking of people that make political statements,
right?
When Bob Dylan was making statements in the '60s, they needed to be made.
Right. Well, and there was also a different era of celebrity there too.
Yeah.
It wasn't the era of everybody was a celebrity.
Right.
There was a group,
yeah.
a club almost, and even old celebrities will express that. It was a club back in the day. There was only so many people.
Now you get famous for opening boxes on YouTube.
Right. So it was a different area, and you're right. There had to be an advocate, but now it's everybody has a voice that has a phone and a social media account.
Yeah.
And you're lost in the sea.
Yep. That's why we used to think that people were smarter back then. No, it was just they kept all the dumb people off the TV.
Yep.
They couldn't pass the entrance exam to get on the TV. Now everybody's on the box.
I take my opinions. I'm wholehearted. I'm all about that. If you're in my circle, you will hear them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I view people with opinions a lot like I view hooking up with a bar whore. If it's not yours, it's somebody else's. And in the end of everything, to put it bluntly, you're not the first, you're not the last, and yours aren't that special.
Right. That's a way to look at it.
It is what it is.
Yes, it is.
So,
I like that. Let's see. Oh, another shout out I wanted to make. A couple of guys at work have started listening.
oh shit.
So I mentioned it.
Do they
to
have
them.
sisters that have big boobies, or maybe
One might.
Or maybe
I could see him having
maybe a
hot
wife
sister,
that they like to show off their boobies or something?
One is he's Cuban, and
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
and like I can see you having a hot sister.
She got the little booty.
But yeah, so well, I shouldn't have done that. Like I said, I'm gonna have to be careful what I say on here now about work because
now they're
I
listening.
got some work people listening. But Dave and Eddie, so I think they're starting back on like 1 and catching up.
Oh shit!
You know?
So they'll
Like,
hear
well,
this
if you listen to 1 and you still want to listen, skip 3.
Yeah,
and
19 is different than 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've evolved.
I don't know about evolved, but we're
We
more
haven't matured,
self-censoring.
we were really loose that first episode.
Yeah,
That's
because
one way
we
to
were
look
about
at it.
3 hours into. Yeah.
So you got something there.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth about reading this. I was having a conversation the other day.
I'll tell you what I tell my kids when I ask them if they're still hungry, and they go, "Well, I'm not sure." I said, "If you got to think about it, you're not hungry."
Right.
But go ahead. I want to hear this.
Well, it was a conversation where, okay, so I had one of my drivers quit.
Yeah.
And I'm still looking.
Which is kind of like almost why this week almost didn't happen either.
Right. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I don't know how I
We're just kind of like making it happen.
Yeah, it's late, and I don't remember how I made this work.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've still got the one driver, thankfully, so I'm not even working all the hours that I was, but it's like, it's amazing how lazy you can get about a week or a year and a half,
And harvest season's coming up quick.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not like I'm working like the 70 hours that I used to work, but it's, it's gonna end up being, 45 or 50, and split shifts, and it's just not as fun as it used to be.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was talking and this was a private conversation, so it was meant as an opinion, and I was opened up a little more, and I don't want to sound, when I read this, like egotistical.
Right.
It's just more like, it's not egotistical, it comes from a place of knowing I'm blessed to have had the job, to have had the work, and Jack and I were delivering fuel the other day, and I was like, man, I'm tired.
Yeah.
This day is getting long. I was going down, getting into that 10th and 12th hour, and it was my last stop of the day, and Jack and we were driving through the country, and it was a nice afternoon. We had the window down, and the customers we went to, the man's in his 70s, but he's an optimist, he's really generous, and he's got an old swing set and a merry-go-round, and, shit like this.
Oh,
and, he's, letting Jack out there, and he's pushing him around, and he's involved in life still.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, man, this is the day sucked. The hours are long. I'm tired, but I'm glad this was my last stop.
Yeah.
And it made the day worth it. And then you look over, and there's an old country song on, and Jack's, we have this thing that we started. God, when he was 3 or 4, where I'd buy a package of peanut M&Ms. And we'd share them. Yeah. And if he's got to go to work with me, we still do that.
That's going to be a memory for him someday.
Right, right.
Yeah, I like that.
So, and that's how we learned these colors.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how we learned to count, was with M&Ms, and in the cab of that tank wagon. Gonna make me tear up here a little bit like a pussy. But, it was one of those moments where,
we are real.
It's thankful, and so that's where it's coming from. But I said it's just irritating that I've got nice things and a few bucks to enjoy them, and yet all I get is people disliking me for such, and no one willing to work half as hard. So I have the time to enjoy my time too. While the country fights over where to disperse tax money for the needy, aka lazy, there's some of us out here still busting ass just to be hated for it. And so meanwhile, you have those like this person worth 4 times as much as I could ever dream to be. And people ride their shit skid-marked trains of coattails like they're disciples, and they have more time and money than anyone, working out at the gym 3 hours a day. It gets really old being the middleman between lazy by choice and lazy by grace, the whole time pulling the weight of the whole human race. The middle class is the wet spot in the yard between the throne and the septic tank.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's kind of how I felt it's kind of like man, I'm tired of always busting my ass for, whatever. Yeah. But, I can go up to a bar in the country, and there will be people that just dislike me for no fucking reason. Because I take a shower, put on clean jeans, and wash my truck before I go out there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And
well, look at him
they're the ones.
Here.
Yeah. But they're also the ones that don't go to work till 9 o'clock, and at 4 they're drinking a beer.
Right.
Well, meanwhile, I've been up since 4 o'clock working, and I'm not shutting down until 7:30, 8 o'clock at night.
If that sometimes. Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, you can hate me all you want, but the reason you hate me and that truck that I got is because I was willing to bust my ass, not because it was given to me, not because, and it's a nice truck. I'm blessed to have it, but it's not like I'm like showing it off. I don't have like a lift and big wheels and tires and exhaust and lights and shit on it. It's just a nice, clean truck, Yeah. And but that whole phrase of that hit me, when you're writing and you're just on a splurge and something comes out 1 line out of 20, and I'm like, the middle class is the wet spot in the yard. Yeah. Between the throne, aka the shitter, and the septic tank. It's just that's how I feel the middle class is a lot of time. We got enough to get by, but not enough to indulge. Yeah. We're the ones pulling the weight out there.
Oh yeah. I just hope that the wet spot in the yard,
it's Dookie,
knows. Right. But I hope the wet spot in the yard knows that what it has, it's worked for, and it's probably appreciates it more than the clean throne.
Right.
And definitely more than the septic tank.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. And
while the septic tank is full, it's all shit.
The person that I was referring to is, from personal knowledge of the family and everything that's been shared, it's just like everybody thinks they're the hardest working individual there is.
Oh, yeah.
Yet instead of spending time with their kids, they're working out in the gym or going out and doing this with the boys. And
Yeah.
You know, it's like, man, you got the world on a platter, and that you got the 1950 American dream, you know, and this is how you're gonna spend it.
Yeah.
While the rest
if you could start there,
right,
think of how far ahead you'd be.
Right.
I mean, if you just busted your ass from there.
Right. Meanwhile, I'm having guilt trips because since I've had to go back to work in the afternoon shift as well as the morning, I don't get to pick Jack up from school from the bus. I mean, that's my moment a day, you know. So.
Well, it's like I was talking about getting Dakota's truck inspected, you know, and he's like, "Somebody's got to get my truck inspected." And I was like, "Somebody works all the fucking time."
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'll get to it.
Somebody better learn how to drive better, so I have a reason to.
That's what I wanted to say, but it's like, you know, they're always closed, or they're always open when I'm at work.
Right.
One of these days, I'll take a day off and get things done.
That's what you go. I'll make you a deal. We can work on your driving and get it inspected and get the license on it. But in exchange for that, we're going to have to shut off the internet for the month.
Yeah. Right.
So I can afford to take that week off.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you know. And they'd be like, "Oh,
I'm good.
I'm good. Decisions.
Let's sell the truck, Dad."
Right?
I could use some money. Hey, guess who bought that truck?
That's right.
Good old Dad.
Good old Dad. That's right.
And Mom. But.
Yeah.
Well,
there's a phrase that I picked up that I enjoyed. Is especially, like I said, when you become a father, you start maturing a little bit, I guess, you know. I tell this to people our age all the time when they're complaining about stuff or what is this and weighing options, and I'm like, life is full of choices. Where you're at is a result of choices.
Oh yeah.
All sorts of choices. Yeah, personal choices every day we're confronted with. And one choice can change so much. Yeah. Billy Mattis. So much.
Choice A is better.
Yeah.
No, choice B is
better. Stop looking at me, Schwan.
Choice B comes with pussy and beer.
Well, we all know which choice I've taken.
Yeah. Well, brother, thanks for the shiner.
Yeah, one beer at this time of night, I suppose, with a work day tomorrow is about all I'm going to take.
That's about, that's going to do it.
I'm glad for the people that asked about new content this week and whatnot. It means they at least noticed we had old content last week.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Life happens.
There's still some things that I've got in mind that I want to do with some of that old content. Because there's been some moments that just kind of keep occurring that I'm like, I just want to do something with that. Just kind of show people how this thing really works.
Right.
But
freeze frames from the pictures and stuff. Yeah. As long as it doesn't open me up to any legal repercussions.
I don't think so. Yeah. I cut all that.
I cut all that out. Shit.
Yeah. That stuff went in the recycle bin and then emptied the recycle bin. And then drilled holes in the hard drive.
Oh, I remember the days I used to have to delete my browser history.
Right.
Not anymore, though. I bookmarked that shit. Yeah, I bookmarked that shit now.
You just leave it right there.
Yeah.
Shortcut on the desktop.
Yeah. One 12-minute porn video will last me 4 sessions. I mean.
I put it in a folder called taxes.
Pound me too.
Nice. Social injustices. Nobody looking there.
That's where I keep the interracial porn.
Oh yeah.
That's horrible.
Equality.
Kids, don't be like me. Unless you want to call me daddy, in which case I'm okay with that. Either way, I'll finish.
Yeah.
I had to get it in there.
However, not always. Not always. So, all right. Well, I guess that kind of does it for this week. Hope y'all enjoyed that.
Yeah, enjoy my poop stories.
Oh,
What I got
there's
to-
more where that came from. I can guarantee it. I got pictures.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I don't. I don't save that
I
stuff.
was going to say, I've been sent, like, the poop pictures, like, look what I did before. And I'm like, no, I tell the stories. I don't need visuals. I wouldn't send you visuals.
I remember one time you sent me a picture and you were like, what color is that? This has been years ago. And you were like,
I was going to say,
it was
there must have been
interesting-
something behind that,
Right.
no pun intended.
It was a multicolored kind of thing. I was like,
Was it Christmas?
the hell did you eat? Maybe. Fuck, it was a gift from something.
You're a big one, Mr. Grinch.
You're welcome. Well,
Yep.
we'll see you guys next
Yeah.
week.